Good morning.
这早
Good morning
大
again.
家听到 I am very pleased to be here.
我非常高兴站在这里。
Every time I come here, I am pleased to be here.
我每次来到这里，我都非常的开心。
As the pastor said, our friendship, our relationship goes back 30 years and more.
正如刚才林牧师所讲的，我们的友谊已经有30多年了。
And my friendship with Light of Christ also goes back quite a few years.
我跟基督之光的友谊也已经很多年了。
And this is the first time for me to have this kind of Bible class.
这是我第一次这样的来给大家讲圣经。
I hope that it's helpful for you.
希望今天的主日学你们都有所得着。
I will formally welcome your questions or suggestions at any time.
我正式的就是希望大家都能够提出各样的问题，在任何时候提问都可以。
What we want to do today is understand the background of the book of Job.
今天我们要做的就是来了解一下约伯记的背景。
We have to wait till next week before we actually enter the book of Job.
要到下周我们才开始正式的讲这个约伯记这本书。
Okay, let's start with this question.
那我问一下，
The people of Israel in Old Testament times, probably like the people of China and people of Europe and North South America, all places, were generally people who did not read.
在旧约时期的以色列民也跟同时期的中国人、欧洲人还有北美或者其他的地方的人一样，他们不见得会读书。
For us, the Bible is a precious book. We can take it home. And whenever we want to, we can open it and we can read it, right? And we'll put a marker there so the next day we know where we should begin.
对我们来讲，现在圣经是非常宝贵的一部书，我们可以带回家，我们来读，我们来在上面做记号，我们也可以放书签夹住，然后第二天再翻到我们昨天读到的地方。
But if we wouldn't be able to read,
但是想象
what would we do?
想象一下，如果我们没有什么可以读呢，我们要做什么？
Okay, now, first question for you. For people who are pre-literate,
第一个问题就是在人类还没有文字之前，
what parts of the Old Testament do you think would be the most important parts?
那么在旧约圣经中哪一部是最重要的 ？Genesis。
I have been a teacher for a few years, and I'm used to students not saying a word.
我已经教了很多年书，我很习惯有学生就是坐在那里一动不动。
But I'm a very patient teacher.
但是我没有耐心，
So please do not hesitate.
大家不要犹豫，一起来踊跃回答。
箴言
Jenny, okay, book of Proverbs. No, you don't have to translate that. All right, and one other. The Psalms, right.
诗篇，
Okay, why do you think the Psalms is so, they sing, right?
为
And
什
you
么
know
诗
how,
篇会那么流行呢？因为它在教会里面被传唱。
and when you learn that, no matter where you are, you can sing them.
不管你在什么地方，你都可以唱，可以歌唱。
And even the book of Psalms says, some of these are for when you go up to the temple. Some of these are for when you're making a sacrifice. Some each for a different purpose, but people would learn those and be familiar with those songs.
在诗篇的经节中，有些提到是去圣殿的时候唱的，有些提到是做奉献的时候所唱的。但是我们都可以看到，大家在任何时候都可以唱出来。
You know how quickly children learn things when they can sing them.
大家都知道，小孩学东西最快的方式就是能唱出来。
I think it's like that for all people.
可能对老年人来说有一点点困难。
Okay. Now, the book of Proverbs. Why do you think that would be so helpful to people who cannot read?
为什么约伯记对于大家
No, not 约伯记。
sorry， 为什么箴言？为什么箴言这部书对大不能阅读的人来说也是非常重要的？
You can't be the one that answers all of the questions.
那是因为很短，
But
每
thank
句话都很
you.
短。
Short phrases is easier to pass on from generation to generation.
Okay, it's easy to remember, and actually it's a form of poetry, just like the Psalms, just a little different.
因为箴言的每一句话都比较的短，像诗篇一样，可以很容易的被记住、被传下去。
Just like also the book of Psalms,
也像诗篇一样，
the book of Proverbs contains the wisdom of the ages, the wisdom that has come from generations of people and been memorized by people.
箴言也承载了世世代代的人们的智慧。
And people use those to encourage each other, to educate their children. They didn't have books to educate their children. Yeah, the book of Proverbs and the book of Psalms are the two most important books in the Bible.
人们也用诗篇和箴言这两部非常非常重要的，在旧约中的这两部非常重要的书，用它们来教育自己的孩子。
In fact, sometimes words from those books appear in other books, written a little bit later.
很多时候，我们也看到这两部书中的经节被用在其他的后期写成的圣经中。
Okay, now I would like to introduce another step.
Just say change.
Yeah,
下一章，
yeah. Okay,
在
all right. When we talk about literature
当我们来讲文学作品，
in the Old Testament,
在旧约圣经中，
we have several different kinds.
我们有几种不同的书，
One is the laws.
律法书、
Another one is history.
历史书，
Another one is the writing of the prophets. The prophets,
箴言书，
先知
先知书，
yeah. And another one is the Psalms, the hymns, the songs.
诗歌、诗篇，
And another one is wisdom.
还有智慧书。
智慧书, yeah. And in the category of wisdom, there are three
在
major books.
在智慧书中有三大书，三本很重要的书，
The book of Proverbs,
箴言、
book of Job.
约伯记。
Any idea what the other might be?
Ecclesiastes?
Okay, yeah, 传道书, yeah. Ecclesiastes.
传道书，
Okay, these books are written to encourage people to live a moral, happy, successful life.
这些书都是鼓励人们要过一个有道德的、成功的 生活。
And we're going to be looking at some of those passages in the book of Proverbs.
我们会读到一些在箴言书中的一些经节。
I would say that the book of Proverbs is probably the most optimistic and upbeat book in the Bible.
我要说箴言书应该是整本圣经中最乐观的，也是对人类有最多鼓励的书。
The law books will tell people you must, or you may not.
律法书非常清楚的、非常严格的告诉人们你应该做什么，你不能做什么。
Book of Proverbs, not that way.
箴言不是这样说。
It encourages people to think. Use your brain.
它是鼓励人们用自己的头脑来思想。
Don't do bad things.
不要做坏事。
Because if you do that, it's going to hurt you too.
因为如果你那样做了，事情也会影响到你。
There's no punishment there.
它不是说到惩罚。
It's just helping people understand how to live a good life.
它只是帮助人们思考怎样才能过一个更好的生活。
It's just that.
就只是这样。
Well, we're going to have some examples of that in just a minute.
我们会有一些例子。
But the other two books, Book of Job, Book of Ecclesiastes,
另外两本书《约伯记》和《传道书》，
they deal with the question of sometimes things don't work out right.
他们都是告诉你怎么处理当事情并不是那么好的时候，是很糟糕的时候。
Sometimes you do good things,
有时即便你做了好事，
but bad things come upon you.
但是坏事情还是会发生。
It's a hard question to deal with.
这是一个很难处理的问题。
It's a question that we all have experience with sometimes.
我们大家都有这样的经验，
I think it's important that the Bible has those books.
所以我也看到了圣经中包含这样书的重要性。
The Bible is an honest book. The Bible is an honest.
圣经是一个非常诚实的书，很真实的，
Straightforward,
对，很直接，
based on true experience.
就是有实际的例子。
So, the wisdom of the book of Job and the book of Ecclesiastes is how do we experience things that we do not deserve?
智慧书约伯记和传道书，也就是告诉我们，当我们遇到一些事情并不是像我们所期待的那样的情况下发生，我们怎么处理？
Okay, let's go to the book of Proverbs.
我们看一下箴言书。
Give us one more. We've talked about that. Okay, one more. Okay. Oh, right. I wish I would have thought to bring a pointer along. Would you just start reading the first section of the book of Proverbs that gives the purpose of the book of Proverbs?
箴言书第一章，大卫的儿子以色列王所罗门的箴言，要使人
Little slower.
要使人晓得智慧和教训，了
Okay.
解
Okay? They're going to have several different purposes there.
了解充满哲理的言语，
Okay? To help people understand, help people know. Next one,
使人领受明慧的教训。
领受. That means wisdom is not something we invent, but it's something that has come to us from above, that would be from God, but also from our parents and our grandparents and our uncles and aunts.
我们领受明慧的教训，我们看到，这明慧的教训不是我们自己想出来的，是从前辈们、我们的祖辈们、我们的其他的长辈们那里领受到和学到的。
Another way to say it is that's the way the community we live in understands a good life.
这也是我们生活在一个这样的社区环境中，我们都能够理解什么是好的生活。
Okay, the next one.
使愚门人变成精明。
Okay, what kind of people?
愚门人，
Okay, what would be in English? Oh, simple? Okay.
not educated，
Not educated, good, okay. And if you read on, you'll see
使少年人获得知识和明白。
少年人,
young
yeah, like a young person. The book of Proverbs is written in order to help young people grow up.
箴言书这样写成，就是为了使少年人能够成长。
Sorry. Oh, when you read the book of Proverbs, you will find the word fool
当我们
often in the book of Proverbs.
我们在读箴言书的时候，经常会听到愚门人、愚门。
And that has in the book of Proverbs, it is used for two different kinds of people.
在箴言书中，愚门是用在两种不同的人身上。
One is the person who is evil,
一种就是那种很邪恶的人，
who is maybe very smart, but not for good.
有一些就是头脑非常的精明，但是没有做好事。
Okay, that person is someone you need to be careful about.
这种人大家要当心，
You need to avoid that person.
尽量避免跟这样的人交往。
But the other one
另一
is
种，
the one that's not grown up yet.
另一种就是还没有长大的，
That has hope.
他们是有希望的。
Yeah, that one needs to be encouraged. It needs to be trained.
这样没有长大的人是需要更多的鼓励，需要更多的训练。
That's what's talked about here. The book of Proverbs in part is for them. That is their unwritten book of education.
所以箴言就是那些给这些少年人的书，虽然没有写，是还没有写成的书。
Okay, read on the next section.
使智慧人听了，可以增长学问。
Okay, this is also written for people who are grown up and who are already wise, but for them to increase their wisdom, because no one has all wisdom.
箴言书也是写给智慧人看的，他们已经有了智慧，但是可以更加增长他们的智慧，因为没有人可以知道所有的事情。
Isn't that marvelous? It speaks to a community that has no book, but introduces the book of Proverbs as something for everyone in society.
把箴言书介绍给一个群体，他们没有书的时候，你要知道，这箴言对所有的人说话。
Okay? Next, there should be,
敬畏耶和华是知识的开端，但愚妄人藐视智慧和教训。
Okay. At the very end, it also says wisdom includes, in fact, the basis of our wisdom is our relationship with God.
我们智慧的基础是我们跟耶和华的关系。
Since it was the beginning again, the fear of God.
敬畏耶和华。
Okay, 敬畏耶和华. Excuse me. In Hebrew, the word is, and it's translated in English, if you're following that, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom.
在希伯来文和英文中翻译出来都是这样的，敬畏耶和华是知识的开端。
Fear, however, has two sides,
敬畏有两层意思，
especially in Hebrew.
尤其是在希伯来文。
Yeah. One kind of fear is
一种敬畏是非常的恐惧，非常恐惧。
dread. Fear of someone greater, someone who will do harm to you.
知道就是害怕有不好的事情，有其他人会做坏事。
But the other kind of fear is respect.
另外一种敬畏就是要尊敬。
You recognize that someone is greater than I am, maybe older, maybe wiser, maybe more important place in society, and so we fear.
我们尊敬那些长者，更有智慧的人，或者对这个社区有更多贡献的人。
And so with our relationship forget that. So when we're talking wisdom, the basis, the foundation
智慧的基础，我们的最基础的
is our fear of God.
就是要敬畏耶和华。
Okay. We have a couple of other verses up there. Go ahead and read the other verses, starting with those at 20.
OK，
Yeah.
智慧在街上呼喊，在广场上扬声，在闹市中心呼叫，在城门口发出言语。
Can you read that in English also? Sorry.
All in the open wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. On top of the wall, she cries out. At the city gate, she makes her speech.
That's an interesting way to think about wisdom. And it's almost like wisdom is a person.
这个看起来是很有意思啊，智慧就像一个人。
Wisdom once is alive.
它是活生生的，活的。
And wisdom wants people to have wisdom also, and she wants to share that.
他希望人们都有智慧，他愿意把智慧分享给每个人。
And so she calls out to people to listen to me, learn from me.
所以他在广场上大声的呼叫，大家都来听我，来跟我学。
They don't have a book,
人们都没有书，
but they do have wisdom calling for them to come and learn.
但是他们确实有智慧在那里，把他们都召集在一起来学习。
Okay, let's go on to the next one. I gotta watch my time here.
你们愚门人喜爱愚门，好讥笑的人喜欢讥笑，愚昧人恨恶知识，要到几时呢？
Okay, two kinds of people, and
有两种人，愚门人和好讥笑的人。
okay, my eyes are so bad. I'm going to ask you to read that in English for me,
Okay,
for my
okay.
benefit.
How long will you who are simple love your simple ways? How long will mockers delight in mockery and fools hate knowledge? Repent at my rebuke. Then I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make known to you my teachings. But since you refuse to listen when I call, and no one pays attention when I stretch out my hand.
Okay, that again is a picture of wisdom, alive and present among people.
再一次的向大家来展示一个这样的画面，智慧是一个活生生的人，在大家的中间。
And wanting to invite people to understand wisdom and how to live wisely.
邀请大家都来学习什么是智慧，怎样才能更有智慧的生活。
Let's go to another passage, please.
你们既轻忽我的一切劝告，不肯接受我的责备。Since you disregard all my advice and do not accept my rebuke.
Okay, you're gonna let that go. The next one.
耶和华以智慧奠定大地，以聪明坚立高天。
Okay. Wisdom is a creation of God.
智慧是耶和华所创立的。
Wisdom is the means by which God created this world.
智慧就是耶和华用来奠定大地的。
When we look at the world, and this is one, I should make the sentences so complicated. This is one of the things we'll see when God speaks to Job later in the book.
我们在之后约伯记中就可以看到耶和华向约伯说话。
God shows him the wisdom of the world.
耶和华向约伯显现了大地的智慧。
The world is a mysterious place.
智慧是一个很神奇的。
The world is a mysterious place.
世界是一个很神奇的地方。
And it operates, looks like it operates all by itself.
好像它自己就可以运转。
And parts of this world are operating.
一部分世界可以自己运转。
Those parts of the world that are far, far removed from us.
在很远很远的地方。
In the book of Job, God will point to morning and night.
在约伯记中可以给我们指出有早晨有晚上。
Who turns the world around?
谁让整个世界这样运转呢？有昼夜的交替。
And every day.
每一天都这样有昼夜的交替。
Is that something that we can do?
我们可以做到吗？
No, we know that we sleep when it's dark.
我们知道天黑的时候我们就睡觉了。
And when it's light, it's time to get up and do some work.
天亮的时候我们就起床来工作。
Who does that?
但是是谁让这个世界运转？
If this didn't happen, how would plants grow?
如果没有使世界这样运转的，那么植物是怎样生长的呢？
How would animals know that they need to sleep?
动物又怎么知道是时间要睡觉了？
This world is an amazing place.
这个世界是一个非常神奇的地方。
And South Pole and North Pole, they have 6 months dark and 6 months sunshine.
Uh-huh.
People still live there. Can you explain that one?
Well, every different animals, including people, adapt to different situations. It's just that the whole world makes it possible for them to live in the different circumstances.
那个的问题，地球的两极就不是昼夜交替，而是半年这样的。他问罗牧师回答就是，在不同的地方会有不同的动物，他们适应这样的环境，在那里生活。
And what we're saying here
我们所看到的这里，
Well, I hate to bring future things in here too early.
我不能太早跟你们讲以后的事情。
The world that God created is far beyond our ability to understand.
神所创造的这个世界，完全的超乎我们的智慧所能理解的。
But the world that God created is a home for us.
神所创造的这个世界就是我们的家。
Who made this world?
是谁创造的这个世界呢？能够这样昼夜的运转，
Right? Every day.
每天都是很有规律的昼夜的运转。
And the stars.
天上有星星，
And in wisdom,
还有智慧。
God created this world. So wisdom is not just something we think of. Wisdom is a principle at work in all of the world.
耶和华以智慧来创立了这个世界，所以智慧不是我们想出来的，而它是奠定整个大地的基础原则。
And we don't have time to look at some of the proverbs
我们没有时间再读其他的箴言，
that talk about the wisdom of an ant,
他会讲到一个蚂蚁的智慧，
the wisdom of a lion,
来讲狮子的智慧，
the wisdom of ostrich.
鸵鸟，
Mm.
鸵鸟的智慧。
We think maybe they don't have too much wisdom because they got their head in the sand.
我们会觉得他们应该不会有什么智慧，因为他们就是把头埋在沙子里，
But they do have their wisdom too,
但他们有他们自己的智慧，
their way of living in this world.
可以帮助他们在这样的世界生存。
When we want to think wisdom, that's where we begin.
如果我们来想到智慧，我们就能从这里开始。
Okay, go
耶
on.
和华以智慧点定大地，以聪明坚立高天。因他的知识，深渊就裂开，天空也滴下甘露。我儿要谨守大智慧和明辨的态度，不可让他们离开你的眼目。
Okay, let's go on to the next picture.
这样，他们就必做你的生命，做你颈上的华饰。你就可以安然走路，你的脚必不致绊倒。你躺下的时候必不会惊恐，你躺卧的时候必睡得香甜。
Help me again.
They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck.
Oh,
Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet.
isn't that nice? Lord, or wisdom given by the Lord helps us find peace at night.
从生来的智慧，让我们在夜里能够寻找到平安。
I think if there's one word that summarizes what wisdom would like people to understand or to have,
用一个词来形容，就是智慧，希望大家都能够得到的，或者学到的
I'm going to give you a Hebrew word.
一个希伯来文的词。
Some of you may have heard this before, and I've used this here before.
有人可能听过，我也用过，在这里，
The most beautiful word in the Hebrew language
在希伯来中最美丽的一个词
is the word shalom.
少弄
Shalom.
少弄
Shalom.
少弄，
It can be translated peace. And
就可以
also
翻译
peace.
出来是平
But
安。
I think it means more than just peace. I think it means harmony.
不光是平安，它还是一个和谐。
When all of life fits together nicely.
当所有的生命都非常和谐的一起生活，
And husband and wife love each other.
夫妻之间互相相爱，
And parents and children love each other.
父母和子女也相爱，
And people and their neighbors get along nicely together.
邻里之间也有爱。
And their body grows up and also has harmony.
当
No illness, no problems, no difficulties.
我们的身体成长以后都是有和谐的，不会有疾病。
And when our emotions are also good,
我们的情绪也都是非常的平和，很高兴。
peace is shalom is such a beautiful word.
平安少用是一个非常非常美丽的词语，
And this is a word that people in the Old Testament and actually to this day, people in that part of the world, not just Hebrew but Arabic,
记了。
have that word.
也从那时起一直到甚至到现在，也是在那个地区生活的人们。
In Arabic, it sounds more like salam.
阿拉伯文
Mm-hmm. S-L-M. Shalom. S-A-L-M. Same word.
他们是同一个词。
In that part of the world, that is a word of greeting.
在那个地方生活的人们用这个词来互相问候。
When they get out in the morning and they're walking and meet someone, shalom.
当他们早起碰到人，或者在路上走碰到人，都会用这个词来问候。
What a great day, great way to start the day.
这是一个多么美好的事情，用这个词来开始新的一天。
It is actually a blessing that you give someone. May you have
peace。 这也是给大家的一个最好的问候，祝福他这一天都有平安。
There's a portion of the Christian church in Taiwan.
在台湾的一个教会里，
And also, when one sister or brother greets another one, Ping An.
教会他们彼此之间的问候也是平安。
It also sounds beautiful. Shalom sounds very beautiful, but no one would understand that there.
听
But
起来也是非常的美好。
that gift of blessing that represents the relationship we have in our Lord.
但是那个祝福就是也体现出我们之
It's
间的
marvelous. What wisdom gives, or wisdom hopes, is that people can have a shalomic life.
智慧，就是希望人们之间都能有一个非常平和、平安的生活。
Okay, and you'll often see kind of what's here. If you this, then you will that.
在这里，我们经常看的就是，如果你这样，你就可以怎么样。
Okay, let's read the next one.
忽然而来的惊恐，你不要惧怕；恶人的毁灭临到，你也不要恐惧，因为耶和华是你的依靠，他必护卫你的脚不陷入网罗。如果你的手有行善的力量，就不可推辞，要向那些需要帮助的人行善。Have no fear of sudden disaster or of the wrong that overtakes the wicked, for the Lord will be at your side and will keep your foot from being snared.
Because of time, I want you to see that the blessing is there. First, have no fear. Second,
The Lord will be at your
the
side.
Lord will be at your side, and therefore there will be blessing or shalom. We want to see that this is an important theme in the book of Proverbs.
这在整个箴言书中是非常重要的一节。
Let's go to the next one.
你那里
Well,
会有
this is just a beautiful section of the book of Proverbs. Go ahead.
你那里如果有现成的，只不可对邻舍说：“你先回去，明天再来吧，到时我必给你。”你的邻舍在你旁边安居，你不可设计害他。如果人没有加害于你，你不可无故与他相争。Do not say to your neighbor, "Come back tomorrow, and I will give it to you," when you already have it with you. Do not plot harm against your neighbor who lives trustfully near you. Do not accuse anyone for no reason when they have done you no harm.
Okay, this is talking about shalom in society.
这讲的在整个社会生活中的一个平安。
Okay, let's go on because
不要嫉妒强暴的人，也不可选择他所行的一切道路，因为偏离正道的人是耶和华所厌恶的，正直人却是他所亲爱的。Do not envy the violent or choose any of their ways, for the Lord detests the perverse,
Proverbs.
but takes the upright into his confidence.
Go ahead. Yeah.
我有2件事求你，在我死去以前，求你答应我，求你使虚假和谎言远离我，不要使我贫穷，也不要使我富裕，只要给我虚用的食物，免得我吃饱了就不认你说耶和华是谁，又恐怕我贫穷就偷窃，污渎了我神的名。Two things I ask of you, Lord. Do not refuse me before I die.
Okay, I've memorized this one. Isn't that beautiful?
这个很美啊，
Don't give me too much.
不要给我太多，
I'll forget you.
这样我会忘了你是谁。
Don't give me too little, or I will.
不要使我贫穷。
Either way, that's not shalom. Just enough is
刚刚
okay.
好就好，太多或者太少都不是平安，不是啥了。
Does this remind you of something that we say every time we worship here?
有没有提醒到你们？我们每次来这里，
The Lord's Prayer.
我们的主导文 给我们，
Give us this day our daily bread.
我们日用的饮食今天赐给我们，
Go church and hall.
够吃就好。Enough, just enough.
不用太多，
Don't be too much.
也不能通通没有。
Don't be too little. 不要什么都没有。
Gorgeous, just absolutely lovely. And
太
go
美了，
ahead.
刚刚好。地上有4样小东西非常聪明，蚂蚁是微小的昆虫，却能在夏天预备粮食；石獾并不是强壮的动物，却能在岩石中做铺。4 things on earth are small, yet they are extremely wise. Ants are creatures of little strength, yet they store up their food in the summer. Hyraxes are creatures of little power, yet they make their home in the grass.
Okay, because of time. There's a section in the book of Proverbs that has something like this,
在箴言书中有这样的一些章节，
which puts different things together
把一些不同的事情放在一起。
and talks about the beauty or the wisdom of this and this and this and this.
提到他们之间的智慧，
It wants you to think and find ways that these are related,
让大家来思考，能够把它们连接起来，
and then apply that to yourself.
然后我们就应用在我们自己的生活
Book of
中。
Proverbs can be a little bit playful.
箴言书有一些就像做游戏一样，
Okay, next one.
蝗虫没有君王，却能成群列队出发；壁虎虽然可以用手捕捉，却住在王宫中。
Okay. Let's skip that one.
房屋的建造是凭着智慧，又借着聪明得到建立，并且借着知识，各房间充满各样宝贵和美好的财物。智慧人大有能力，有知识的人力上加力。
Okay. And next one.
你要凭着智谋去作战，谋士众多就可得胜。智慧对愚妄人来说是太高超，因此他在城门口哑口无言。
Okay.
不要照着愚昧人的愚妄回答他，免得
Okay,
你像他一样。
stop. Say that first one again.
不要照着愚昧人的愚妄回答他，免得你像他一样。
Okay. second half.
要照着愚昧人的愚妄回答他，免得他自以为有智慧。
哦，对吧？
Yeah， 是不是 confused？
Yeah. Contradiction. Strange. In the Bible, the two things put right together.
在圣经中这两节经文就写在一起，但是互相是矛盾的。
Which I think is a way of telling us that the wise person is not just the one who knows Proverbs.
这里就是提醒我，很有智慧的人，并不是只是知道箴言，
It is how to use.
而是你怎么去使用，怎么去用经验。
If we ask the question, which of those is right?
那么这两句话哪一句是对的呢 ？Both，
都可以了吧？
两个都可以。Oh sorry，both。
No, your Chinese is very good. But not these two things which contradict.
他俩之间确实是有
None of them is good for every situation.
没有哪一条可以在任何的条件下都使用。
A wise person knows which one to use.
有智慧的人会在正确的情况下使用其中的一种。你的仇敌跌倒的时候，你不要欢喜；他绊倒的时候，你心里不可欢乐。恐怕耶和华看见了，就不喜悦，把他的怒气从仇敌的身上转到你的身上。
Okay? That also is reflected in the New Testament.
这在新约中也有一些。 你的仇敌跌倒的时候，你不要欢喜；他绊倒的时候，你心里不可欢乐。
Is there another one? Yeah.
你要把你的财物和一切出熟的农作物敬奉耶和华。
Okay.
这样，你的仓
What is the first half?
你要把你的财物和一切出熟的农作物敬奉耶和华。
我们要好好的奉献，
We need to
对吧？
and we need to offer.
Yeah. And the second part?
这样，你的仓库必充满有余，你的榨酒池也必盈溢新酒。
What is the connection between those two things?
这两句话之间有什么联系吗 ？The cause and
Okay.
因果关系。
因果关系。
cause and
OK， 你要是这样的话呢，那就会变得怎么样，对吧？
If you do this, then what will happen?
好多many of the proverbs have this kind of logic, this kind of speak this way.
在箴言书有很多的地方都是这样的，有一个因，一句是因，一句是果。
The problem is that if you give this honor to God in order to get God's blessing, then the motivation for honoring God is tainted.
但是如果你是为了获得神给你的祝福而去做一些奉献，那你的祝福就不是纯粹的。
Yeah. Okay? There's something wrong with that. Now,
这里有一些错误。
I think that's one of the reasons the book of Job has been written.
这也是为什么要有约伯记在圣经中。
What if that does not happen?
如果你做了一些，但是祝福并没有临到，怎么办？
How do you explain?
你怎么解释？
How do you live with that?
你怎么这样去生活？
Where's the harmony of life?
生命的和谐在哪里？
And the book of Ecclesiastes the same.
传道书也是一样。
So beginning next week, we're going to enter that world.
那么下周开始，我们就开始讲约伯记，
It's a little bit of a dark world,
来看一看这个糟糕的世界怎么样。
but it's a real world.
它是一个真实的世界。
And I bet everyone here, has experienced that kind of feeling.
我确定，在这里坐的每一位多多少少经历过这样的，就是
So,
这样的生活。
so come back next week and let's walk with Joe.
那么下周我们再见，一起来跟约伯一起来
A
经
hard
历
walk, an important walk.
经历他所受的
I see someone in the back wanting to walk to the forward. And that's because I have gone over time.